We just got some disappointing news about Spider-Man 5 because it has been confirmed that Spider-Man 5 will not be moving forward anytime soon because the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day, Destin Daniel Cretton, who will be returning for the sequel, has officially shifted his focus to the live-action Naruto movie, which is set to start its production in the first half of 2027. So let's talk about when we're actually going to get this next Spider-Man sequel and what I think Marvel's plan is for this next Spider-Man trilogy. Now, luckily, I don't think we're going to have as long as a wait as we had in between Spider-Man No Way Home and Brand New Day because obviously that was a 5-year gap, which felt like forever to not see this man on the big screen. Now, before we even get to the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, though, we will luckily see Tom Holland return as Spider-Man in Avengers Secret Wars. Most likely, I would be incredibly shocked if he's not in here. Obviously, in the comic storyline, you have the very famous moment of Spider-Man with the symbiote suit. I can't imagine them not doing something like that in Secret Wars, and this is going to start filming literally any day now because it's scheduled to come out next year in December. So they have to start filming this movie soon, and maybe we'll get some set leaks that confirm, yes, Tom Holland's in this movie. Now, when it comes to the next two films in Tom Holland's upcoming Spider-Man trilogy, I would absolutely love if they could do what Dune is doing with their trilogy, giving us 3 films in 5 years, but this does seem incredibly unlikely to happen because it actually seems like at the very minimum we're gonna have a 3-year wait in between Brand New Day and Spider-Man 5 because in 2027 we know Marvel is only releasing Avengers Secret Wars. That is their only film coming out next year, and obviously there will be the Spider-Verse, but that's not directly in the MCU. Then in 2028, Marvel has already announced a new X-Men movie, the Ghost Rider movie starring Ryan Gosling, and Black Panther 3. Even when Marvel was in the prime of just pumping out a ton of movies a year, they really never went over 3 films in a year. I can't see them trying to jam in something here. These are already all the prime release slots, like right at the beginning of summer, middle of summer, and then right at the holiday season. So that pushes us to 2029 being the earliest possible release date for Spider-Man 5, and I do think that is when we're going to see this movie because that would be a 3-year gap, which is a lot more manageable than a 5-year wait. I think Sony wants to get these films out a lot quicker now, especially since we're in a new trilogy. They don't want to have that huge wait going, especially if Tom Holland does end up getting the symbiote suit in Avengers Secret Wars. That's going to be like another $2 billion movie, building even more hype for Spider-Man 5. I think they're going to lock in and get this movie out in summer of 2029. Obviously, Brand New Day released in July, and this is breaking like every record possible. I think they're going to keep that July release date because this is like their prime character. And of course, these are all just concept titles, but I do think for the third movie in this new Spider-Man trilogy, which will end up being Spider-Man 6, Sony is probably going to lock in and give us this movie quicker. I think it's only going to be a 2-year wait, and we're going to get this in 2031, closing out the next Tom Holland trilogy. And the reason I believe this is kind of because Sony has no choice. There is a rumor going around, it's not 100% confirmed, but that in their contract with Marvel, they have to make a Spider-Man related movie every 3 years, at least starting production on one to keep these rights to the character, which has not been a problem for Sony because obviously they've had the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, they've had the Spider-Verse films coming out, and then if there was going to be like a longer wait in between, they're just like, yeah, we're just going to pump out a terrible villain movie like their Venom, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, any of those terrible films. But they've officially come out and said that they're not coming out with any new villain-verse movies, and the Spider-Verse trilogy ends next year, so they kind of have no choice but to fast-track the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie in this new trilogy. I do think that's probably going to introduce Miles, but I don't think Tom Holland's actually going to retire from this character. If these movies keep being as successful as they are, I can't see him or Marvel walking away from this free money. We're probably going to get like 10 solo Spider-Man movies with him and a Miles going at the same time, which could be peak. Now, I'd really appreciate it if you became a channel member. For a few bucks a month, you'll get exclusive spoiler versions of my movie reviews and rankings that will never go public for anyone else to see. So to see all those members only videos, click the playlist on the top of the screen right now, or if you want to hear me talk about the huge controversy with Sadie Sink's character in Brand New Day, click the video on the bottom, and thank you for watching.